Ty,
Yo,
what's
what's
good, bro?
going on, brother? What's going on, man?
Hold on, Ty. Melanie. Ty requested first. I'm gonna let Ty. Is it me? Ty, she's. Ty,
Melanie, come on,
I don't even
Melanie,
know who
come
that
on,
is, yo. I don't even
come
know who
on,
that is.
man.
Listen, before I bring anybody else up here, if you have not watched the pin video on my profile, that is what we are discussing. If you do not watch the pin video, you cannot come up here. Okay, if you come up here and it's clear that you have not watched the video, I'm going to kick you off. Um, this is what we are going to be discussing here. Yeah, I'm gonna bring Melanie. I'm gonna bring woman up, Melanie. I'm gonna bring woman up, of course. Um, so yeah, I just want to know, we're just gonna have a conversation here. What do y'all think, modern women are prioritizing? Do you think they're prioritizing their careers, or do you think that they're prioritizing family? So that is what we are going to discuss here, okay?
So first thing is first. Thanks for having me, Noble. I
Of course.
appreciate it. Um, as I said, on top of that, first thing, black people first. You know what I mean? I don't care. As I said, I am a biased person. I do
I'm
care.
I'm I'm sorry, Ty. Hey, Miss Vanessa, can you please mute up until I get to you? Thank
Mhm.
you. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah. Yeah. So as I said, black people. Yeah. We're here, guys. We're right to the top. So first thing is first, brother. I feel like personally said I'm not a woman, so I can't really speak too much on it. But of course, from what I've seen in my anecdotal experience, I personally feel that there are individuals that are out there that are prioritizing their jobs and their career way more than family. Let me tell you why. Just like we spoke about before, some people, not all, of course, but some people feel like they can turn on that light switch and automatically have a family. No, that's not how it works. It's okay to kind of what's the word for it? It's okay to kind of test yourself, see how well versed you are. You know what I mean? You can achieve greatness, especially with your career and stuff like that, while at the same time too, you know what I mean, being like getting involved with family or being family oriented. So it is possible, but we have individuals now, especially in today's age, that just want to that just prefer to to basically take care of self. And as I said, we've seen a lot more selfish people out there these days, and it's unfortunate because at the end of the day, we should see more love. We should allow people to as I said, to have these conversations more often because as I said, we're not having it enough. And another thing I wanted to add, brother, on top of that too. When you're prioritizing your job and stuff like that, it's great. Of course, at the end of the day, you need to be an adult. That's first thing is first. You
Right.
need to be an adult, so you need
Right.
to be making your own money, obviously,
Right.
and doing what you got to do. That's just standard. But if you're a man, as I said, I'm going to say it like I always say it. I'm going to mute after this. Men, we got to do better. We need to make more damn money for women to sit back and enjoy themselves. So that's what I wanted to say. I'll mute up.
Let me ask you a question before you meet up, and I go on to Melody.
Yeah, sure.
Um, you mentioned the whole one thing that I do agree with you on. I do agree with you that there's like, obviously, I'm in my mid 20s, if you will, right? I'm 25. I agree with you that the whole flip the switch thing. I agree with you that there's like women my age that especially when we're starting our careers, they are like trying to quote unquote climb the corporate ladder, if you will, and get to a certain position within their company, get to a certain position within their career. Um, and for some people, for some women and men, but we're talking about women right now. For some women, they get to that earlier, and for some women they get to that stage later. Um, and for those women that get to that stage later, not saying all again, but there are definitely some women that they wake up one morning and they are 35 or they are in their late 30s, and you know they realize like, damn, I've been working all this time, and now they do really want to, like, they really do want a man now. They really do desire companionship. They really do like want a family now. And like you said, they think they could just flip the switch and go outside and make all of this stuff happen. And the same thing with the men, right? Because the same thing for the men, but we're talking about women right now. But and, it doesn't work like that. So I do agree with you on that, Ty. But let me ask you this as a man: do you think that a lot of, like, modern women, if you will, do you think that they're being like raised to like be wives? Do you think that that's something that they're prioritizing at
So
all?
first thing, so on top of that, brother, is like women don't have to submit to everyone. Period. You don't have to submit. Only when you feel like that person is worthy of your submission, then do what you have to. That's why it's so special, because obviously it's not supposed to be just given around the place. So, yeah, let me hand out some submission. You want some submission? No. Like, so you have to allow a woman to to feel safe. When she feels safe and she feels like she can talk to you, she feels like that you're a person that actually has her best interest, then of course, then maybe submission will come after that. So going back to your question was
Yeah, I was more so asking you, like, do you think that a lot of like modern women are being raised to, be wives, and do you think that that's something that they're prioritizing
no,
at
they're not.
all?
They're not being raised to be wives. Honestly, like now, I wouldn't say men are even raised to be
Husband?
husbands. Like it's like we're in a situation where we're learning two different things. We're not even really learning about family. We're learning about ourselves. Do this for us. And and as I said, like I mentioned before, we are very selfish now. We're just thinking about me, and not about we anymore. So, and especially if you're at a young age, or if you're a certain person, not everybody, but if you're a certain person, some people are bitter. Men be teaching their sons to be players or whatever, this and that, not to get married. That's corny. Women that are teaching their daughters not to respect men. That's corny too. So we have to move away from these type of destructive type of mindsets and behaviors.
Ty, before I go on to Melanie, do you think it's purely capital? I don't want to say purely. Do you think capitalism is a big part in why, like, young boys and girls are being raised the way they're being raised today? Because I agree with you on the whole, like, it's all about me, me, me. But is it all about me, me, me because of the society that we currently live in, and what we have to do to survive in our society? What do you personally think?
Absolutely, you're right about that. Like a million. And we already in a situation that women had to take the lead, especially from the things that we dealt with, as I mentioned before, endless times men being killed or being put to jail and stuff like that. So women had to basically get on the forefront, and because they've always been on the forefront, but it's a situation where they're doing way too much. At least to me, as I said, as I said, I am a person that feels men gotta pay all the bills without being controlling. People can't really do that. But yeah, I'm an advocate for men doing more. And if you're a woman and you're of course bearing child, if you are bearing child, of course, because some people can't. If you're doing all that stuff, you're doing double the work. You're doing double the work, and we're not for putting extra stress on women's minds.
I listen, bro. Listen. When I have a family one day and I start like and I have like my wife and kids, I definitely want to be in a position to where, like, I can pay 100% of the bills, right? Like, that's what I'm working so hard for right now. And shit, I will be. I'm doing way better than the average black man, right? Shit, I'm doing way better than the average man in general. But but the like I always talk about like the numbers, and I always talk about like the reality for the average person, especially for the average black man. That's not a reality. That's not a reality for, that's not going to be a reality for 99% of, like, I asked a woman the other day on here, I said, out of 10 women in our country, I said, out of those 10 women, how many of them do you think are actually contributing like financially to the household? I said, do you think only one or two? Or I said, do you think more like seven to nine? She said more like seven to nine. So I said, so if women have the mindset out here that they're looking at men like, yo, if you cannot pay 100% of the bills, or we have people on this app, claiming to be these spiritual healers and claiming to do voodoo and this, that, and the third. And they're telling all these women that, 99% of black men are not worthy of procreation, and, you know, all this nonsense. Like, he needs to be able to pay 100% of the bills and have land and assets for 4 generations of the family. That's not going. So with what that person said, that means 99% of black women are not going to be mothers or wives then, because 99% of black men are not going to be able to do any of those things.
Yeah, yeah, brother. And when people say those type of outrageous type of things, you got to think about it like behind it all. Like, is it any bitterness that's coming out of it?
It's a
Is it
lot of
any
bitterness.
bias? Like, what is this person speaking from? Is this person speaking from trauma, pain, issues, anything? So we just got to think exactly like this to really take the time to understand where people are coming from and the words that coming out of people's mouths.